All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you're tuning in, be sure to hit that thumbs up. And just quickly, remember our disclaimer as well. Remember that day trading is risky. Be careful. Do not use money that you cannot afford to lose. Remember to practice and utilize the simulators and our small size. And also, copy trading does not work. I got in some new aligners again, and it is hard to speak here. But anyhows, remember to be careful with the fake ads. There's a lot of people stealing content, trying to run ads with it. And then be careful of fake accounts, fake Relentless Trader accounts on all platforms. With that being said, let's talk about today's trading. I know you guys missed me on Friday. To address Friday very quickly, and I did earlier in today's live stream. Friday, I didn't really have frustration. I didn't really have rage. More so, I was disappointed because Thursday, the day prior, last week, Thursday, the 21st, was the day where we went green to red on a bit of a short squeeze. And I was on short fuse on Thursday for this. And this carried over into Friday. And so there was a setup that I missed early in the day that basically put me on a bit of a tilt, and it was just more so disappointment. Like, man, how did I come in for this new day, prepare for this new day, and still fumble? Like this, it's something that should never bother you. Like throughout the course of a day, you can miss a trade or two. You can have accidents here and there, But these are things that should never bother you because you're always keeping a clear mind for the opportunities ahead, the opportunities to come. And that was the issue that I had. So this one thing basically early in the day just frustrated me to the point where I just left without saying anything. And this is something that I should never do. Um, but at times, despite feeling so, you know, motivational, happy, relentless, discipline, whatever word you want to throw in there, right? It's like sometimes it reminds me that I'm still, human. And I'm saying this with a smile because, we can feel so highly of ourselves. We can have such high confidence. But whether it's the market and or something else outside of the market, we can be humbled and be reminded and grounded and all these different things. And so, Friday's a day where I just needed to leave and just, space out a little bit and not try to take out any sort of frustration, disappointment, anger, anything like that on the market. And so that's what that abrupt ending was all about. And so coming in today, the goal was, hey, you understand that something so simple should never get you out of your comfort, out of your good habits, out of your leadership, all these things. And so, I started the day and my aim was just to stay locked in, take it slow, utilize small size, manage risk, do all the good things that we know to work well in the market. And do not, above all else, do not let one small missed opportunity or mistake cloud my judgment for the rest of the day. And so we came in, we checked our gap scanner here, and we determined our watch list stocks. And we had a good three or four stocks here early in the day. And it ended up being a fairly nice day, right? We were watching ticker symbols OSRH. I can pull them up as we go here as well. OSRH. This one was a little cheaper and a little bit more range bound. We were at $60 here. Didn't really trade it much. I did like this bit of an opening surge play where over the pre-market highs, we ripped up aggressively. Let me see if I can fix this volume bar here. We ripped up aggressively, right? Okay, that's a little bit better. So this thing over 110 or so just took off, and I was not expecting that. So initially I thought, man, this might be the one that we're looking for, to give us that, big move, right? Big breakout, short time frames, etc. However, after just the first couple of candles, I realized, hey, this one is going to be a little bit more range bound. And so I kept looking at other stocks. And so on the watch list, we also had HCWB. And that turned out to be one of the other ones that moved up. And, for the small size, we did fairly well. Also, in addition, I started off trading on Guardian today. And then there was a dip and rip opportunity coming up on HCWB. And I'm like, you know what, man? I'll use my Thinkorswim account here. And I took one trade on Thinkorswim and ended up just like, almost like I forgot to switch back, right? Like I just kept with the platform and just kept trading as normal. Now, there are some things that I noticed. It's like this thing with the direct access platforms where the fills are so fast and you get an advantage in terms of how quickly you can be in, but you also can't afford to ever hesitate because then you're just going to get that higher. It doesn't matter how fast you could be in. If you're hitting the buy button slowly, you will get that higher fill, right? And Thinkorswim, you got to be careful to not get slippage because you can also, but of course, market orders, you can get filled all the way up to any price. With the direct access platforms like Guardian, I have offsets to where I can't get filled too high. Anytime I complain about a high fill, it's mostly me just being a little slow. But, trading on Thinkorswim today, it felt smooth, felt fine. It's like on one of those days where the platform worked so well to where you didn't notice any issues. So I just stuck with it. And, small trades added up, right? We initially had a resumption for the dip and rip, which wasn't the cleanest opportunity, I will say. This is around 9:46. I'll pull up the 10-second chart here as well. HCWB. That way we can get a closer look as to what the price action was looking like. So right here, resumption. This thing ended up doing fairly well off the resumption. It was a 10-minute halt. We got halted up at 579. We resumed at 612. So what's that? Almost 30 plus cents. Well, more than 30 cents higher. We didn't really get a clean dip and rip, I believe. It was a little choppy at first. Nevertheless, we did get to a high of 648. And, I think this is where I was making good decisions initially, right? Like, hey, this thing isn't really dipping. Let's take that starter position and just give it a chance. This is the point of having a tight stop anyways when it comes to hyper scalping, is that we can go in and because our stops can be tight, we can still have a limited risk and give ourselves a chance in the trade. And so initially I'm in around like, 610, 613, 608, those type of levels. And we got all the way up to 640. So my first trade here was very good. It does the same thing again. However, I'm in the second time at 14. And then it goes all the way to 37. I only sold maybe 1 or 200 shares of my 500 share blocks. Yes, trading with really small size here after the loss. So by the way, I've been in this sideways trend for the longest. And I've been into 2 trader rehabs where I'm at the lows of my drawdown. It's been around like 12,000, right? I've been at the lows of my drawdown, had successful trader rehabs where I've made my way either back to flat or close to flat. And now I'm back at the lows of the drawdown again, right? And so it's been a little frustrating, of course, but we have to do all the right things to get ourselves where we need to be. And so today it was a small size, take it one day at a time, one trade at a time, and try to manage risk as best as possible. Stock pulls back. We're doing a good job reading our levels. We say, hey, you know what? Let's pre-market high level, and this is like textbook for what I'm used to trading. Like, this pre-market high here. Let's see how it holds up. It holds up to the penny here. Is this coincidence? I think not. Although we haven't really been seeing a lot of stocks uptrending and holding up their levels to give this. I very firmly believe that what we're seeing right now is nothing more than a rough patch, and that in time we're going to wreak havoc, all of us, not just me, but every trader in the chat room there who's trying every day, everyone in the audience who's watching on and trying every day, you know, especially if you're able to be nicely green right now, I'm telling you guys, man, just wait, just wait, just wait. If you're nicely green right now, gains are going to triple, double, triple, quadruple. For the people who are having the slower periods, gains are going to skyrocket back up. Let's just keep being patient and dialing in every day. It's going to happen. So this thing does a red to green here, bottoming wick on the 5, curls up, and I was not expecting this. I was thinking we would see either a sideways consolidation here. And by the way, I can bring up my drawing tool. I was thinking we'd see a sideways consolidation in this area, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll sell early and look to get back in, and then, you know, so forth and so forth. It just kept going, and there was no early pullback here to then, you know. So I undercapitalized here, being out early. I was in low, out like here. I mean, it went for a new high, right? And this is what I love to see. New highs turning into support. Previous resistance. Can't break, can't break, can't break. Finally, it does break right here. And then this level turns into support. And what do? We have a consolidation. It makes a new high. It keeps going. And this is how we were able to essentially make our gains today. So with small size, not too many shares trade. I mean, you guys know, like, I could have easily traded, you know, maybe 800,000 shares in, 500,000 shares in, 500,000 shares out, a million shares. So, you know, we traded fairly well, efficient trading. And, you know, we ended up getting to a high point and weren't able to break out. Sadly, we were hoping this could keep going, but it did not. And the daily chart was a bit of a warning for this too, because if you guys are to check out the daily chart, if I come here to 12 months, 1 day, let's do 1 day. Every time this stock gaps up, it sells off, right? Despite being such a nice one. And we saw this in pre-market. It's part of our pre-market routine to check the daily chart. So this was HCWB. I mean, you know, we're just so used to seeing this type of strong momentum here, right? I mean, if we get stocks like this every day, this is why I came into this year thinking I was going to make $1 million this year, is because last year we had a stock like this, like 95% of the times in a day. 95% of the times throughout the course of the year, we have like about 250 trading days. And then on most days, you get at least 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 5 of these same type of moves. So this year, I'm coming in this year, I'm going to go mad with the size. I'm just going to destroy everything. And then here's this madness slowdown, right? We even had our biggest green day earlier this year, $18,000 in a stock similar to this one, in a setup similar to this one, right? I mean, the opportunity is here, but we got to just be patient and wait for the market to heat up with a little bit more consistent action. Typically, when large caps are at all-time highs and the SPY is at all-time highs, we'll see more consistency in small cap in terms of the price action. You know, but things might be a little bit different, and so, you know, some adjustments are needed. And you know, I think trading like this, where we're being a little bit more efficient, can also be a good thing, right? And, you know, if we ever need to be scalping like a madman, we can take it, you know, because we've mentioned, right? We hyper scalp, but we really could get down to geez, scalping, right? Where we take even more trades, right? But anyhow, that was HCWB, and then we also had ticker symbol THAR. THAR. We were also up over 400 on this one, but we gave back half, trying to capture the breakout here. And this one was quite impressive because we could have never imagined it would have just kept going like this, right? Initially, we're watching the other stock, and we can double back here just to see where we kind of had the backside start. This backside, I'd say, let's just say at 10:14 a.m., right before this red candle. It might take a red candle or two for you to say, hey, you know what, let's switch away. I did take a dip down here and sold into the pop, I think, with like just one share. But and I tried to go short here in the height of this range, by the way. Or maybe I took losses here, small size, something like that, right? I think I took two small losses of like $50 total. So moving on to THAR, and that was 1014. You know, just for some context here, 1014 at this time is all the way here, right? So after the resumption, I don't think we came for the resumption either. Let's put on the show trades here. Where did I start trading this one? This was 1023. So you can see how late I am to the show. And with the small size, I mean, we did fairly well. You know, we got up to $400, which is essentially like $1 a share that we made for the size. So I came in, I'm like, okay, we had a halt here, kind of just doing a bit of analysis. Okay, we had a high of day at 667. We're now pushing up at $7. And so we started to have this consolidation yet again here, right? And it was a little tough because we initially had this false breakout. 1 minute candle made the new high, false breakout, but it held up this level at 688. And then we started this insane uptrend. I think this is where I was doing the best. However, later in the move, I did get chopped a little bit, but slow and steady, baby pullbacks. This is where MMU strategies really shine. What is the baby pullback? Well, right here, when we have a red candle, this is a full-on 1 minute pullback, right? The baby pullback is better depicted on a 10-second chart, which I can pull up over here. It's when on the 1 minute, there is no red candle, but there's this small dip in here. And so from a high point of 716, there's a low of 710. From a high point of 740, there's a low, and this is a better example here. From a high of 741, there's a low of 727. This is a great example of it right here. The baby pullback. And so it's reading price action, you know, being in on moves like this, selling a little higher, reading the price action here, getting in, selling a little higher, and then ranking and repeating, even if it's a 1 minute candle to pull back, and then, you know, so forth, so forth, so forth. But we ended up giving back half closer to the highs as the price action. I think there's a trade where we got filled like 20 cents higher or something crazy. Like, you know, where it was a little volatile and we got caught. So let's look at time frame 1029. 1029 on the 10-second chart. Some people also use 15 seconds. This is one of the really good things about the day trade dash software here. By the way, you guys can always check out the links down below that I have if you want to utilize this platform. If you want to check out Guardian, you know, Marcelo also got those Sage links. If you want to check out other platforms, diversify yourself with platforms. That way you can always use a different one if you need to. Let's see, 1029. 1029. So 1029, and so I'm gonna guess the move happened right here. Was this the low of 20, low of 21? What was the low of this candle here? 27, and this is actually it's at 1030. So I got to come ahead a little bit more. 1030. Let's see. Lows of 27. Okay, so it's actually right into this candle, it looks like. So we had a high of 41 right here. The candle opened at 37. We dipped down to 27, and then we get the curl back up within the candlestick and so forth. So, you know, it doesn't look like much, but it can add up very quickly, especially when you're in lower, and then you can give it, you know, that time to open up. Because we essentially, let's see, we essentially kept pushing up here. I mean, you know, it was that 30 seconds later, there's 57, and then 64. And then, you know, before you know it, the stock is just going. So there's 200 bucks there. And then there was another stock in INHD that maybe I left out a little too early. Oh, well, shoots. I definitely left out too early. Goodness. I saw this one. And because I said, you know what, the live stream is done, I'm like, usually, I mean, you guys know me. Like last year, there's so many days where after the live stream, we'll come back and like, you know, big green because something like this. But I mean, today, well, today was a hot day. I mean, we had 3 stocks today. It was definitely a hot day, and worth sticking around and pushing it maybe. But you know, when you're in these trader rehabs, your profits could be limited because you're choosing to walk away, right? Which is the right thing to do. I mean, each person can decide how they want to navigate their own trader rehabs. If you know, if maybe you push it today and you're out of trader rehab because it's a massive green day, and you know, there's different ways, right? Or you could stay here, give back everything, and then you get frustrated all over again. You know, I mean, there's different ways it can go, but anyhow, so it seems like it was a pretty bullish day. But because I left out where I left out, I'm like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna let it be. And that was somewhere here around 10:55, 10:58. Definitely could have came in, traded this pullback if I was watching at it. You know, watch this consolidation here for the breakout. Nice baby pullback in here. It looked like it was gonna false break, but it held up, kept going. Quick flag, kept going. I mean, this looks like it was clean for the most part here. Held up the previous highs. Although now our range is much bigger, this is where I would have to be careful to not give back too much and keep it tight in this level here. Other than that, you know, it looks like it might have been done for a while. If we zoom out, we start to look at different time frames, like the 5-minute time frame. And this is where if you're here till 4 p.m. or if you're just pushing it a little later, you can really like do well, because then, you know, you start looking at the 5-minute chart, bigger time frames, like, hey, how are we doing? And maybe you're keeping your INHD. Maybe you're keeping your alerts on as well, and then you start to see what this looks like here is an ABCD setup. All right, I mean, this is clean. Typically for me, I want to be in either here, or even at the halt level going up for the resumption trade. And I mean, it looks like it was a little tricky though, because we had this red candle, this one wasn't. This one was more, you know, not bad. I won't count that one. Nice consolidation here. So if you can avoid losses in these 2 candles, major losses, looks like this would have been fair play. You know, we make a new high, it pulls away up to 6. And what about after hours? Did we? It's holding up. So tomorrow it'll probably be in our watch list unless it sells off in pre-market. This is what the stock market that we know and love is for small caps. This is it right here. Stocks like INHD, HCWB. I mean, it's insane to even think that this all happened in one day, because for months now, this is like a dream. Like, this is like a memory. Like, I'm telling you guys, man, like if we're gonna see this, this is the thing. Is this just a bluff? Is this just one day, or are we gonna see this consistently now, every day or most days, let's say, moving forward? Because I can tell you guys, if we're gonna see this every day consistently, well, we're gonna start making thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Like, very quickly, right? But if it continues to be slow, we'll continue to be careful, continue to work and adjusting towards like trading the range. But if this like, you know, I mean, I have no doubts, I have no fear, no hesitation. Like, I'm very confident in saying, if we see this, Pastor will be massively green, guaranteed. And this is not the guarantee that Charles Barkley will give. This is the real guarantee, the real deal. So I'm always confident. You know, sometimes you can get frustrated, sometimes you can get a little bent out of shape, but we have to remain disciplined. We have to remain consistent. And, you know, sometimes I have deeper rooted issues because, you know, I don't want to get into, I one day I'll open up about this stuff, right? But to keep a long story short for now, I feel as if this is my destiny, my birthright almost. And when I have issues and or adversity, it can make me feel a type of way, you know. And these issues are beyond even trading, right? There's even more to it. It's a little deep. And so for me, you know, being aware of myself, I have to keep myself in check and understand that nothing easy is ever good, you know. Nothing easy is ever good at all. Hard work and getting the fruits of our labor is the key here. So hit the thumbs up, especially if you're watching to this point. If you're watching to this point, you're the person who's going to become the profitable traders. The people who watch the first 2 minutes, unless they're already green and a great trader, maybe like, and they don't really need to watch the recap. But if you're somebody going through the learning curve, or you know, you're now getting green and you're watching till the end, you're getting all the information, you're more than likely going to do well. The others who are watching the first 10 seconds and then just hazy green or red and then gone, depths. But anyhows, that'll do it. That'll do it. Ay, ay, ay. Man. Our guardian. We can go to, this is usually how I'll have my setup, like split screen like this, but yeah. Okay, take care, stay safe, stay green. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. It's been Pastor, and I'll catch you guys later.